Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing this wonderful, amazing evening? So, I have my favorite pastor. Hello, Pastor Kelly. How are you?
Hey, peace and blessings. How's it going, sis?
It's going good. It's going good. Y'all, how's the sound? I don't have my headphones. I should have grabbed them. Hold on. I got the cord wrapped around this mic. I do not want to. I'm gonna get one of them little mic arms when I move. When I move, but when I go home, trying to make sure I'm good. This cord out the way. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see who we got in here. Who do we have in here? Let's see. Let me check and see. Hold on. Come on, we got 28 people. We got 28 people. So we can get started. So they said your sound is a little low. So say something.
My sound, is that better?
Okay, so one if it's better, two if it's not.
How's that sound? Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Let me make sure because I got to start making sure that I have mine close as well. Let's see, y'all. One, hit one if the sound is good. So, two, I think you're fine. Okay. One, everybody's one. Okay. Who's low? Is it me or is it Pastor Kelly? Trying to make sure it's not. Okay. I think you sound good. Let me see. Let me mute and cut it down. I'm gonna hear from over here. You're good. I checked it. So we can get started. All right, family, y'all come on in here. So, so y'all let's get started. So Pastor Kelly. Um, I think I want to kind of bring you on because I know you've been doing a lot with the Pews and the whole thing with the UA community, and I know you got a response back from earlier. You did the video where you talked about the response that you got from the professor. Um, and validating that it was solo trail. So first we want to tell you thank you for what you've been doing, and I think this is a great win on our side that you received that email about a couple weeks back talking about that the solo trail in its Black Hebrew. So can you tell us? I think we went through the history, but just I guess we can start going through. How does it feel now that you finally
Well,
now everything they fussed about saying it was cursive Hebrew now we back to cursive Hebrew. So what are your thoughts or
well, for me, the work is not done because for those that are not aware, with the petition, we need to come together and make sure that we all sign that petition that Dante created to recognize the urban apologetic community, that term, that group, and everyone associated with it as a hate group because they are. They
Yep.
are filled with hatred. They are filled with venom. They would stoop to the ugliest depths just to try to taint or suppress the information that's being shared. And
Yep.
I'm being clear. I'm calling them all out. Abu, Vocab Malone, aka John Mark Reiser, All of those guys, and from now on, and I know I'm getting ahead, but from now on, don't just refer to them by their nicknames. Refer to them by their full names. These guys are ugly. They are wicked. Everything about what they are doing, their actions is wicked.
Yep.
I would have been, let's just say if things came back the opposite with the Pews. If multiple professors came back and said that is not what I've been fighting for, I would have been fine. Of course, you will have a slight bit of disappointment, but I would have been fine. But it's confirmed that it's Solo Trail and Block Hebrew on the Pews. And just to see the depth of what these guys are willing to do. See, the Pews was never about trying to find clarity on it. It was used to be used as a pawn to further throw shade and discredit us that they call the moderates, which I don't subscribe to at all.
Yep.
And just even, and we could go through the email that they sent to Professor Bunis again and show you their tactics and see what these guys don't have a clue about. Number one, Professor Bunis is overseas. And when you send those type of emails and you start phishing and those type of things, you start getting into international crimes. It's not just local, it's international.
Yeah.
And many of you guys are hiding behind what you think is dummy accounts. It's traceable.
Oh, yes.
You may think that you created a dummy account. I could tell you all about computer forensics. I'm not new to this thing. So you can go to the library, right? And open, call yourself sending an email from that library, or you may try to, get other computers to kind of hop from, and you could go through the dark web. Let me tell you right now, it's all traceable.
Yep.
So every email that was sent to Professor Bunis, guess what?
It's traceable.
There's an IP address that's associated with the computer that it was sent from. There's a location that it was sent from. All of that stuff is attainable. So I'm making it clear right now. You're not going to get away with it.
Yep.
That's not a threat. This is a promise. You are not going to get away with it.
Yep.
And last thing I want to say, Sister E, these guys have no clue of the depth of what they really are getting into.
Yep.
When you get into phishing, that's what it's called, phishing. It is a crime to harass people. That is a crime. To bully people, that is a crime. And when you do it across state lines, let's just say if you are in Chicago, let's say if you are in Arizona, let's say I'm mentioning those places for a reason. Let's say if you are in Florida and I am located here in Virginia. Guess what? When you call yourself bullying someone, guess what? You are getting into federal territory. Why? Because you are crossing state lines. And then when you do this on someone that's overseas, now you're getting into international crimes.
Yep.
That is criminal. See, this is why I made it clear from the beginning. I'm not talking to these guys. I saw Abu from a mile away by how he handled things. They made a video, and I could pick apart that video that they used. They made a video and put me at the face of it, and we talked about it offline.
Mm-hmm.
They purposely calculated, put that video out there. They knew that I was dealing with a situation with the whole, and I'll just say the name, that the Dow situation. And what many of you guys don't know, the urban apologetic community, they meet. They have meetings on strategically what they're going to put out there, who they're going to attack, when they are going to attack. That's a fact. So they knew that I was preoccupied with the Dow situation. So they calculated, and they came out at that, right at the height of that situation, and put this nonsense out, this video that Abu. If you go to Abu's YouTube channel, you'll see several videos about the Pews with me on it. You'll see Benaiah Israel. You'll see the same stuff you see on Vocab Malone's video. I mean, John Mark Reiser. You see it the same thing on Faithful to a God, aka Voe, little Voe, because he wants to, being that I guess Vocab is taking a hiatus, he wants to fill the shoes.
Yep.
You could go right down the list. All of this stuff, all of them are in this thing together.
Correct.
And I'm
Correct.
and if I sound a little fiery, I am fired up because enough is enough. It's time to call all of these guys out. And what's
Correct.
sad is that some of them are supposed to be our own brothers and sisters.
Yep. Yep. And they have no regard. And y'all, here's the petition. If you have not signed, sign it. We actually, I want to see more than 1,500 signatures. I need to see at least by the end of this week 5,000 signatures. You all, a lot of us are working hard, and we have daytime things and night times, and nighttime jobs. I mean, this is our not job, but we have day jobs, and I'm not throwing that up because I praise the Most High Yah for a job. But a lot of us, I mean, we put our blood, sweat, and tears into this because we care about you all, and we care about the community, and we care about the future of our community. This is serious for us. Every single time we're getting ready to do something, we take it serious. We sit down and figure out what can we do to edify and bless the people of the Most High Yah. That's our goal every single time. Every single time. To feed the people, bless the people so they can, grow somewhere for them to go. Because I remember it wasn't too long ago when I came into the truth and I had nowhere to go. And I praise Yah for putting me in the directing me to follow Pastor Darby. But that's all I had. Y'all have a lot. And for us to continue moving the way we're moving, we all are going to have to come together. Regardless of we have differences, we have problems with one another, we're going to have to lay it aside and come together and become one as a community and stand and fight. And the first thing we need to do, and let me make this be known, Dante stood up and took the charge of let's do a petition. He did it, and he's putting his blood, sweat, and tears into it as well. So I would say, y'all sign it. Let this not be in vain. Let this work not be in vain. Because not only can this petition make one voice to say, we're not accepting this. This protects us in the future. Because people are going to think twice before they do anything. So understand that this is for the people. And I don't care what color you are. White, black, green, purple, it has nothing to do with the color. Because yet and still, Robert is my brother just like Pastor Kelly is my brother. But we got to all come together and be one and fight against the demonic spirits that are coming at us. Because it comes at us. I mean, y'all don't realize some of the things that transpire when we at night or during the day, the phone calls we get, the harassment we get, and we're doing this for you all. But right now we need for y'all to help us. We need to get this petition signed ASAP. We got to get, I said 5, I want to see 15,000 signatures. And I'm going to reach out to other platforms. Understand that's even bigger than ours. If y'all know Lisa Cabrera, y'all start emailing her because I'm email her as well. We need to start reaching out and going beyond just our community, but start reaching out further because these people are sick and they're twisted. They're sick and they're twisted. So let's stand together. Let's get these numbers up. We're almost at the and the list is growing fast. And what they don't understand with what we just got right now is enough within itself. But I want it to be bigger.
But that's right. It should be a lot, far, much bigger than what it is right now.
Correct.
And I mean, reach out to you guys, and I'm saying this to those that are in this chat. Reach out to the Ron Daltons. Reach out to, even though we may all have different differences on doctrine, whatever, but guess what? We're still one community. So reach out to the Watchmen of Deborah. Reach out to the Issachars. Reach out to King James University. all these different platforms that are out there, and let your voice be known, and let them know that all of us need to come together. This list with all the people that subscribe and following us, this list should easily be at 10,000 easily.
Yep.
So the more people we have on this, the better, and with, again, as Sister E pointed out with Dante, he's putting his whole livelihood on the line. All of us are putting our livelihood on the
Yep.
line. See, if we were doing anything illegal or shisty, we would not be using our real names. You don't have to try to figure out and fish and try to locate our real names. All of us use our real names. See, there's a lot of slander that is going on, and these guys have no clue. Even one of the individuals, I'll just use this as an example, said that I am not a pastor.
Yep.
And I have it on camera. I have the video. I have the audio. Just that right there is slander. Because I am a pastor, have my credentials, been a pastor for almost 12 years now. I could go right down the list, and others can vouch for my work, including me being installed. So when you say that I'm not a pastor, you're actually slandering me.
Yeah. You see that, Pastor?
Oh yeah, okay, I didn't know that. So yeah, let's pray for Watchman and Deborah. Let's pray for them. If they were in the accident, let's definitely pray for them for their whole situation. Let's keep them lifted up in prayer. So again, guys, we have to come together, and we have to fight this fight. We have to fight this fight. You have to ask yourself, why are they fighting so hard? Why are they fighting so hard? Why is this a hot topic of everyone else around the world? You can say that you're Israel, but not the Negroes here in this country. Not the people, not the blacks per se in this country.
Yep. We are deemed as being heretics. I mean, I think we've been called so much stuff. I'm trying to put the link in the chat, but the link is so large.
Yeah.
So what you can do is go to my about section on my YouTube page, and you will see it. And just go inside of where Pastor Kelly. Let me see if I can put it in the description. It can go in the description.
It can go in the description. Yeah.
Let me put it in the description. Pastor Kelly, you can still finish up. Let me do that while you're talking.
Yeah, I'm going to pull this up here, and I want to just read the email that Professor Bunis has sent to Moray Brown. So whenever you are able to share my screen, just let me know. Do I hit share screen on my end?
Yeah, and then I promote it on the page.
Okay.
I don't see it. Oh, here we go. Add the stream. Okay, while you're doing that, let me do this.
All right, guys. So this is, and I want to start here. The reason why I'm starting here is just so that way you guys understand and see the depth of where these guys are willing to go, the ugliness, the nastiness that these guys are willing to go to literally push this bad report about our community, to push this negative narrative about our community. So this is the email. This is the email, the last email that Moray Brown received from Pastor Bun. From Professor Bunis, right? In regards to the Pews. And this is what he says. Hi, William. The aftermath of our correspondence is a bit amazing to me. It really shows just how much interest there is in the inscription and how people with all kinds of agendas, and pay attention to that right there. he's able to see that people have all kinds of agendas that have been reaching out. This gives you an understanding of just how ugly some of the stuff was coming his way. So it goes on to say, seem to be trying to use what they read out of the inscription to their own advantage. That was not the sense I got when I first read your original email. He goes on to say, but if possible, please don't continue to cite me as a supporting source, because I really have no definite idea what the inscription says, or in which, if any, alphabet is written. I hope you're not offended by this request. Best wishes from Jerusalem, David. All right. So that right there really caught me by surprise because of his sudden shift. Now, even though we did the video and you guys see this inside the video, but there's more emails that went by that were sent, right? And we're going to share that in the extended video that we do. But there was more that emails that was sent from another person, all right, injecting what they saw in the pews as well. So this wasn't just Professor Bunis. We just shared him in this thread, all right? So let me show you what really caught me by surprise, right? And I want you guys just to kind of watch here. What caused the sudden shift with David Bunis, right? What was said or written in the emails he received? What was the agenda, or what is the agenda? All right. And this is Moray William Brown, a pastor of Boom Church, right? My cousin. This is how he responded, right? And this should trigger all of us. This should make us start really thinking and seeing the depth that these people are willing to go. This agenda, the depth, the nastiness. It says, I nor my family is linked to any radical Hebrew Israelite groups, nor did I nor my family intend to cause a firestorm of misrepresentations on Professor David Bunis' part. Now, this right here is key, because you see that Moray William Brown is not addressing Professor Bunis. He's addressing someone else that's in this thread, right? He's addressing someone else that is in this thread, a response that he was blind copied on, right? See, Professor Bunis sent Moray Brown a blind copy. So what can happen is when you start understanding blind copies, that means a person could get a notification, and that the people that's in that list don't even know it, because it would not show up in the email trail, right? But it goes on to say the point of sending the Pews to Professor Bunis was to identify if it was Hebrew, because of my family history and culture of the First African Baptist Church. Many are using my video to get clarity regarding the Pews as a means to promote their ideology. I apologize, Professor David Bunis, if this has gotten out of hand, and it was not intended to involve you on this level. So you see, Moray Brown is addressing this individual, but then he shifts to apologizing to Professor David Bunis, right? Said, if this has gotten out of hand, and it was not intended to involve you on this level, now I believe there's an agenda to discredit the writings on the Pews entirely by loading your email up with emails about Hebrew Israelites that have nothing to do with me. I apologize if this has offended you. Right? So this is him apologizing to the professor, but then at the same time addressing another individual. So let's go to this individual that he's apologizing to. And this person name is Joseph Patterson, right? I'm not going to get into all the the specifics about this person, but I did confirm that this person is an educator, right? And I'll leave it at that. But it goes on to say his email, this is what he's addressing. It says, I am Joseph Patterson, and I am an educator at a local high school in Virginia. And I have a few of my former students who identify with such groups as the moderate Hebrew Israelites. That's a buzzword right there. That's a buzz that right there should raise questions and show the lack of integrity, the wickedness that are in the hearts of these people that refer to them as urban apologists. The wickedness that's in these people. This group that was started by Bishop Eric Mason and Damon Richardson. They started that name to put a label on me and my cousin, Pastor Majors, because at that time they were dealing with us and they did not know how to address us because we weren't the camps, but we knew how to go into the word. And no, we weren't dealing with some of the things that they see these guys are doing on the street corners and cursing. They see that we're educated, we're professionals, we have livelihoods, and we are what? Pastors. So I want to be clear on that. And I'm not trying to throw any shade on the camps out there, because even though I don't agree with many of them, I'm not saying all, but many of what they are doing. And no, we don't support the One West doctrine. But at the same time, show me, compare them. If you want to compare them to the KKK, right? How many people have the KKK has killed and they are considered a Christian organization? Now, I'm not condoning the behaviors of some of those guys in the camps, but if we're going to be real about it, you had doctors, lawyers, pastors that was part of the KKK. You had pastors that's preaching a sermon and then raping our ancestors. Pastors preaching a sermon and then after Friday participating in the lynching party. People on their way to the assembly and raping and lynching our people, or leaving the assembly raping and lynching our people. Had the whole law enforcement part of this. Freemasonry was part of it. We could go right down the list. But yet, why are we being those that are coming to the understanding of who they are? How are we listed as Black identity extremists? We got proof through family tradition, right? Stated this for years. Family tradition. They say, all right, well, that's not good enough. We want to see your DNA. Did not one test, but several tests. Came back saying that we're Jewish. Right? So now all of a sudden they constantly trying to move the goalposts, right? Which I'm one of those. I feel like we don't have to prove nothing to them, because no matter what you say or do, they're going to continue to change and they're going to continue to stay set in their ways. It's different of dealing with someone that has a disagreement with you. But when you're dealing with someone that's a disagreeable person, you will never come to any common grounds with that person or group. And that's what they are. They're a hate group. All right. So that's some of the backdrop there of how our interactions took place. And so we got invited by Muhammad to go to the Frequency Conference up in Pennsylvania. We thinking that, hey, that's an opportunity for us to kind of bridge the gap, knock down a lot of the stuff. But see what they were doing at that time, how they would bait a lot of our brothers and sisters in. They'll put some craziness out about our people, and then they'll use that to promote a conference or promote a book or promote whatever things that they got going on. Right. But nevertheless, we went up there. We was very respectful. We got pictures of all of us up there. In spite of being called snakes, wolves, and I showed the some of the screen prints of being called snakes by one of the apologists at the time that's no longer with them. Right? But nevertheless, we still came up there and we were very respectful. We thinking everything was going to, bridge the gap. And what happened? They used it as opportunity to go further in their madness. But yet we're the ones that are being labeled extremists. So I just wanted to give a little backdrop on that, just to show you guys that, you have Bishop Eric Mason, Pastor Damon Richardson. I'm not sure if he's pastoring right now. I know he used to pastor, but these guys are the ones that got Vocab Malone, brought him in. I got the videos with him saying it. You guys heard it as well in the video, saying, "Hey, we had to bring someone that's good and know how to go in on this thing." And so they incorporated John Mark Reiser. So look at these buzzwords here. Says this teacher saying that he has former students who identify with such groups as the moderate Hebrew Israelite, dead giveaway, who has used your name and credentials to deduce that since Hebrew language was written on the pews by black slaves, therefore blacks who came by way of the transatlantic slave trade are the true Jews. And notice they put Jews in caps. Very well calculated. To what? Intimidate this professor. Who knows somebody? He got a ton of, his box was getting flooded by hate messages. But referring to us as what? Extremists. There was nothing extreme about what Major sent to him. Moray Brown sent to him. Moray Brown was very respectful, but this person was disrespectful. The same email thread that Abu was on. Anything you want to share, sis?
And the thing is, all of us were minding our own business. We were working, if but alone, we're in communities, or great example is the fact of me being on Beren's channel. It was never a thing of promoting hate. I mean, in fact, I think at times I was a little open about letting people on the panel more than most. But yet and still I was attacked, threatened, called out of my name, insulted, given, ugly nicknames. It was a lot done. And I'm sitting here saying, I have not attacked anybody. If you came at me, yes, me and you are going to have a conversation, because I'm not weak by no means. You're not just going to sit and attack me and I'll be like, oh, okay, no, you coming, I'm going to protect myself. And that's the problem, and I got to make sure, sometimes I'd be looking off on the screen, but that's the problem. They attack, but then play defenseless. Like, oh, she's attacking. No, I'm protecting myself. But yet and still, they want to label us as extremists. I've never threatened anybody, and you'll never see me threaten anybody. I'll never attack anybody and say I'm gonna do anything to hurt anybody, because that's not even my nature. But if you come at me, I'm gonna protect myself. And what they did was, every single time when they attacked and I would protect myself, they say, "Oh, look at Sister E." No. Let's go backtrack. I never came at anybody. Initially, we're gonna call her name Cherry Love. She came at me first. Like I said, I didn't know who she was until people in Sunday seminary started pointing me to her and saying, she's doing whole lives about you. And I'm like, who is this lady? And that's when I said, okay, I don't know her, but I'm gonna let this go. But every single time I've been attacked, it's usually coming at me and never me just directing at them, just saying I'm going to attack the community. Because my whole initial goal when I joined Beren, when me and Beren started working together, the goal was, and it was between me and him, getting people together to talk. We have differences in opinion, but all of us have the core foundation of the faith, the ones we've dealt with, our community, the people I rock with. But ultimately, we had difference in opinion when it came to customs and culture, but yet and still, and who we are, but yet and still, it didn't mean that we couldn't come together. And we kept getting pushback, attacks. And the UA community, I really believe they would send people out to attack me to get me to leave Berean's panel. They needed me to go away. And I've heard stories of them saying they wanted to figure out what is her name, where she came from. They look into our history and our background so they can find things to throw in our faces, just like they did Berean and the money and Muhammad and his past. That's their behavior. They find dirt and they throw it at you. And the problem was they could not find dirt on me. End of discussion. Because the thing is, me, Pastor Kelly, none of us, we have pretty much clean records. No, that's plain and simple. We're citizens. We're doing what we're supposed to do. So guess what? They wanted to throw mud, but it's like, we ain't got nothing on this girl. So what we're gonna do is we finna send everybody at her and wear her down. And it got to the point where when I left, I knew I was getting. What's so funny is I was getting ready to back off anyway, because me and Berean had that conversation because we saw where they were going. And it started wearing at Sunday Seminary. So I was getting ready to back off anyway and do less things with Sunday Seminary. And Berean wanted me to be more focused on my channel. And we were going to, kind of do a dual thing together. And when Cherry, Faithful to God, G-Man, all of them came at one time. And I was like, what is this? I was like, I'm finna bounce. I don't have to deal with this. And in their head, oh, we ran our way. No, I was getting ready to bounce anyway. I left because I knew that I wouldn't have been able to control my mouth, because it was getting worse and worse. And I said, Berean, I can't deal with this, because it's going to get ugly in a minute. And when it gets ugly, I'm going to be out of order. And I don't need to do that. And look what y'all did. As soon as I left, my channel started growing, and I have passed every single one of them. Except for G-Man, but I'm almost there. But yet and still, I'm passing them left and right. And now they're mad at themselves because guess what? I'm not bound by Berean anymore. I can say what I want to say.
I mean, and think about it too, as you pointed out, sis. I mean, both of us really started pouring into our channels about the same time. Once I did the whole Dow series, I kind of let it go, kind of stepped away from the channel. And then we just said, hey, you know what? Remember we were talking about like, you know what? Since Facebook keep deleting my messages and filtering and blocking me, and we're just like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna work on We Woke. And you said you're gonna work on your channel. And at that time, we're sitting at about 600 subscribers. And look at it now, you're over 3,000 subscribers. And not just subscribers, but look at how many views you're getting. Not just the subscribers, but look at the amount of views you're getting. And I believe last I saw it, I think I'm at about 4,600, all in less than a year. We did this in less than a year.
Yep, we did, because you grew fast as well. And you getting a lot of hits as well. You get a whole lot of views. I think one while I was like, wow, I think you got one that's sitting at 20,000. You got a lot of views on one of them. And I can't remember, but it's in the double digits far as the thousands. But they didn't expect this, and this is what's so funny, and this shows you this was the hand of the Most High God, that even though me and you both started out just this time last year, we've passed them, and we're still passing them, and we haven't stopped passing them. And what they were trying to shut our mouths, and the Most High said, I'm taking you off this platform so you can do. And the thing is, it was the best. What's so funny is it was the best thing they could have ever did. I loved Sunday Seminary. I love the experience. I still love them, and they're still my family. But there were certain things that I couldn't say on the panel because I knew that it was going to impact. It was going to impact them with Sunday Seminary, and it was going to make things harder for Berean. So in some cases, I would hold back because I was like, they're going to come at Berean if I say this. Even though everybody used to love the fact that me and Berean used to argue. Me and Berean argue now. But even then, certain things I just wouldn't say because I said they're going to attack him. But when I was released from that when I left the platform, that was the worst thing they could have ever did. At least I will say this to them because I know they're watching. At least they don't realize how much little bit of control they had when I was on Berean's channel. because we would have conversations and Brian say, yep, I talked to such and such, kind of hold. And I'd be like, I'll hold back because I don't want to cause you any problems. But making me leave was the worst thing they could have ever did, because then I was no longer bound by Berean and hurting the community itself. Because again, they had a little bit of control. UA had a little bit of control over me at that time because of Berean and the other communities, because I didn't want to hurt them. But because now I'm not tied to them, all bets off. I don't hold back anymore because I'm not going to hurt them. This doesn't impact Berean. This doesn't impact Sunday Seminary. So it shows that they're not smart. Because if they were somewhat smarter than most, they would have said, keep her on here. Let's get her to, let's make sure we monitor what she says, because we still got a little control. But they don't have any sense. They don't have good sense. I ran. When I left, I said, I'm out. When I ran out of there, I ran smoking. I said, I'm done. It's a wrap. And guess what? I set up my channel and said, all bets off. Let's go for it. And guess what? It's been the best thing they could have ever done. They could have ever done. I left so fast because, again, I left because I didn't want to hurt them. And that's what they don't realize. I left because I didn't want to hurt Sunday Seminary. Sunday Seminary was such a blessing and such good people in the community that I did not want to hurt them, because we would have lives. And if I would say the certain things, they would cringe, and I could see them cringing because they didn't want to deal with the aftermath of it. Now, all bets off. So what's going on with you, Major?
Yo, what's going on?
Yep, not much.
See y'all on here up late night.
Yeah.
Y'all some vampires, man. Y'all be quiet, don't sleep in the daytime. Y'all be coming out at night.
Man, I don't ever get any sleep. I wake up at 7 o'clock every morning.
Hey, shoot. Pastor Kelly already know how we do, boy. We stay up late at night. You mess around, could think we up 3 o'clock in the morning, boy. My head be in the laptop clicking the mouse. You know?
That's funny.
What's going on?
Not much. We're sitting here talking about back in the day, the history, things we had to endure, the time period. I was on the panel with Berean, and we're talking about your email you got about 2 weeks ago, and how that's just, we've made such leaps and bounds with the Pews with that second email from the other professor. And we're just saying, good job. But, we're just going through the past and letting people know what happened, why we're here, why a lot of us are here, how we tried to build with them and how we tried to work with them. Working with Berean, it was about building with the Christian community so we can bridge the gap.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was this isn't like a lot of people don't understand that this has been a process. It's been a process like over a period of time. We talking at least 4 or 5 years. I would say, I think in 2016, might have been 2016 was the first DNA test me and Pastor Kelly took.
Mm-hmm.
Upon the request of the UA community or whatnot. But yeah, it's been a process. I think that some things have kind of been laying dormant for a while. And we, there was a lot of fighting going on, a lot of things, a lot of fights we could have fought, but it was like, nah, man, I'm not worried about it. So yeah, and I heard y'all talking about the frequency conference and whatnot, and of course, me and that other pastor, we had some issues and whatnot, and then supposedly squashed it. And then I had to drop a video on him the other day, about 2 or so weeks ago, because of some craziness that he was saying on Vocab show. But yeah, I mean, all of that, man, it's just what it is. It's the nature of it. A lot of people, I think I was hearing Pastor Kelly was saying earlier, how all of a sudden now, Dante putting out the petition, all of a sudden now, um, everybody is acting like they're individuals. Some people are, but a lot of them, they're unified. They may have their own channel names, but they have their meetings and their briefings and
Yep.
things like that, and they get together and they talk about who they gonna target and
Yep.
stuff like that, and it's all a strategy and all a ploy. So my thing has always just been we be move strategic and what to respond to, what not to respond to, because they've always wanted to compare us to the camps or whatnot. That was the first initial thing. And then it began to be we worse. Don't let them in don't let them in your church. They go into your church and stuff. They trying to steal members and plant seed. It's all, none of this stuff was factual. They couldn't prove anything. And it's just that it's crazy. And their thing is, well, what the Israelites struck first at us, and we're just retaliating back, and they don't like it. Now, I mean, if we're gonna be truthful and honest, I will say honestly, they have a point from the perspective of the camps, and I'm trying not to, really, talk about, the brothers and things like that, but historically and truthfully, we got to say it. Many of the modern day ones, I'm not going to talk about the ones that were who started before, the elders, they weren't attacking the church, or whatnot, but it's almost kind of like the gangs. You had the gangs, the older gangs, they started out patrolling the neighborhoods as a gang to protect the neighborhood. And then ultimately you had the Bloods and the Crips of form. And then they took it from, it's supposed to be a protective type community of brothers, and it turned it into, banging and killing each other. It's kind of the way the situation went, but that's not everybody.
Yep.
So, to even try to say that and then try to disassociate themselves from the Klan and all these other extremists, the easy cop out is, oh well, they weren't a real Christian, right? So that was the cop out. Oh, they did that, but they weren't a real Christian. But then we say, if somebody do something, we say, well, they want a real Israelite. Then it's like, no, you can't get away from them. You can't get away from. See, it's always a double standard when it comes down to dealing with them. So you just have to move wisely and know how to deal with these folks. It's a lot of psychological things that they try to do, and one of the most important things to them that they think that they're the smartest ones and they're the only ones that have education and the only ones that have connections.
Yep, and that's key. And they think they're the only ones that can think. Again, and that was the whole thing with when I was on Baruch's channel. I kept saying, "Don't lump us all together," because I'm not a camp. And when I say camp, I don't fall up under One West doctrine, because we got to make something clear. There may be communities of guys that come together that preach the gospel, that are Israelites, that are not One West. But because One West has put such a negative connotation towards men being masculine and coming together, that everybody who is, anywhere masculine come together talking about the Bible is a camp. But I mean, I kept saying I'm not One West. I don't follow One West. I don't follow things like polygamy. I don't follow things that are considered to be the negative side. Israel is a nationality, but there are Israelites that are Muslim, there are Israelites that are Christian, there are atheist Israelites. Didn't know that.
Let me say this. Do y'all notice how there was a time when they were using the label moderate, on us, right? And then it came out with the whole thing that the moderates was more dangerous than the camps. Did you notice how the implementation of trying to make that be a successful label They took anybody that was not associated with a camp or affiliated with a camp, and they gave them the title of moderate, right? You're not a moderate, and I'm just using the terminology they use. You're not a moderate because you're not affiliated with a camp. There are brothers and sisters out here who don't go to a camp, but yet they are still camp minded.
Correct.
Just because they're camp minded, they try to say, oh, well, they aren't a part of a camp because they don't a fellowship with one. That don't mean they're a moderate. And so this is the thing that I'm like, yo, man, y'all are really trying to be slick in the way y'all trying to do this. And then the other day I heard, I guess it was G-Man or whoever, somebody sent me a video that he did a response to Teo, not Teo, but Minister Dante. And G-Man said, we calling you moderates as a compliment, as a kind of a form of endearment, as to separate you from the camps, because we're trying to make sure that we differentiate. But yet 2-3 months ago, you did a video saying that the moderates was worse than the camps. So how can 2-3 months ago the moderates be worse than the camps, and now you're trying to use it as a positive connotation on us? That is the most double-minded foolishness that I've ever heard. Because you can't say that we're worse than the camps, but then all of a sudden now you want to use the term as a form of, we want to separate you, when you said we were worse than the camps. If we're going to be worse than the camps, don't try to smooth it over now because of whatever situation happened with Dante. So that's my whole thing. We have to watch how folks move and always be slow to speak and sharp and quick to hear. That's something that Big Mama them taught us. Sometimes you just have to listen to what people say. They'll tell you what their intentions are and how they're moving, and they'll let you know if they're a snake or if they're not, because we have to be very, very discerning in the time in which we live in now, because that's what these are the tactics that they're trying to do and trying to pull.
Salute, Zadok. Zadok in the house. What's going on with you? What's going on, bro? He's speaking to everybody.
What up, Moray Zadok?
I keep saying Zadok. Thank you.
Well, you know, I got my little Jersey accent, so we kind of cram everything in. So instead of saying Zadok, you know what I mean? So peace and blessings. that's a Jersey thing, a brick city.
Oh, Jersey got a lot of snow right now. Poor things.
Yeah. And so, to the point that Moray Brown made is that they always moved the goalposts whenever they couldn't find something that would stick, and they were hoping that we would just lose it. You know what I mean? Just completely lose it, so that way they could say, hey, look, they just like the camps, or they just like this right here. But, this is, as he pointed out, this is why our approach is completely different. It's like, look, as he pointed out, the scripture even tell us, be what? Slow to speak, but what? Quick to listen. And, that's a lesson that we learned. I learned that growing up, learned that from being out in the streets, learned that, from even being in business, every aspect of different things that I've been affiliated with growing up in this professional walk, and also being a pastor. So, but these guys are willing to do whatever. I mean, we see how they will manipulate videos. Mm-hmm. They'll clip it up. I mean, even with, and I didn't put it out there, but I got videos of, for example, when I said I did a video saying that I'm going to shift my focus over to this area over here. The video was like an 1.5-hour video, but they clipped up one little piece of it and then ran with it to try to make it seem like I'm running from them. And then they're like, oh, no, you're going to have to answer some questions. No, I don't have to answer any questions to you guys. Made it clear from the beginning in your approach that you were not looking for a discussion, is to slap us in our face, and then knowing that, being that the integrity that we operate in, that, wait a minute, I'm not going to let you slap me in my face and then you think that I'm going to have a discussion with you. It doesn't work like that, you know? And so they do these things purposely to try to get victory out of it, per se. You know, like when we had on Facebook, when you and I was a year ago with the Do Dirts and all these guys came on the channel, came on the timeline acting crazy. But then when I called them out, say, hey, look, I'll go live and all you guys come up on here and come on live and we'll handle it that way. We'll talk that way. None of them wanted to come live. They were in the timeline, but none of them wanted to come live. But that's what they do. They hide behind these channels, and that's what they do all their stuff, thinking that it's going to stay hidden. But they messing with the wrong people. They mess with the wrong ones, because what they think that they're getting away with, like bullying Professor David Bunis, guess what? They're not going to get away with it. And that's not a threat. That is a promise. Yeah. They are not going to get away with it. And again, they don't understand law. When you're bullying someone and they're overseas, that is international waters. That is an international incident. Technically, that is an international incident.
Yep.
Then even within the state, when you go across state lines with your foolishness and throwing slander on, you can get into what? Federal law. Federal crimes. Because when you go from one state to another state, now you're entering into what? The federal level. Yep. You know, so when they hear us saying things like, hey, they don't understand the legal aspects of it, and they try to pump their chest and say, oh, well, we just doing this and we just, no, it's beyond that. Why? Because we see more than what they can ever imagine for us seeing things. So again, that's why, as Maury Brown pointed out, paying attention to the details, and we pay attention to the details, even though it may seem like right now Abu is quiet, but guess what? We know they're working. We know they're working, because he was doing a video almost every day like a stalker, and now suddenly he's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
He's not quiet. They're not quiet. They're doing whatever they can to try to undo what was already put out there. Maury Brown with Professor Katz, he gave him definitive answers made it clear there is no Arabic on the pews, that it is solatrio, that is block letter Hebrew. You can't get away from that.
Correct.
Well, Professor Bornis even said that there was no Arabic, and he sent it to an Arabic scholar, and that scholar said there's no Arabic. So what is there to talk about? At the end of the day, too, and I'm gonna say this and jump off here. I'm sick and tired of hearing this. I'm sick and tired of hearing two things. I'm sick and tired of hearing this whole thing about Judaizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick and tired of hearing Judaizing, and I'm sick and tired of hearing this thing about proselytizing, right? And here's the foolishness. Here's the way that they're using this all wrong. Okay, when you look in the scriptures and you see where Yeshua or Christ says that he's talking about the Pharisees and how he said, you will go land and sea to find one person and proselytize them, or one proselyte, and make them 10 times or twofold more of a devil, right? But here's the key. They were going in search of, right, to find someone to basically force conversion on them. The Judaizers in Acts, when they came down, this whole thing we're talking about Acts 15. When the Judaizers came, they came down and went to the brethren and said that you must be circumcised after the law of Moses, right? So then Paul and the other brethren, they go to Jerusalem to inquire about this. Here's the two things about the Pharisees and those that were Judaizers. In fact, the one that was Judaizer, when you look in the scriptures, it never condemned them to hell and said that they were hellbound. Why? Because the Judaizers were still believers.
That's
Their
right.
whole thing is they just didn't understand doctrinally that Your heart need to be circumcised more so than the foreskin, right? Here's the two things about the one that's the Pharisee who's going to try to find a proselyte to force conversion on him to make him live like an Israelite, right? Not that he wants to do it himself, but it's a forcing on him. And the Judaizer that came down, both of them have to go and enforce this. If I'm online on YouTube and I'm teaching about Torah and people are listening, that's not Judaizing. That's not proselytizing, because I'm not going on your channel telling people who are listening to you that you need to keep the law, that you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to keep the feast. If I'm on my channel and I'm just teaching and people are coming on my platform listening, that's not Judaizing. Judaizing and proselytizing is one who's going out and with the intent of a thing. That was the issue that Christ had with the Pharisees, and this was the reason why that Paul and the brethren had to go to Jerusalem, because other brethren who were believers came to them with that. If I don't come to you with that, you can't call me a Judaizer. And it's the thing, because brother says, and I heard, Elder Mike Holloway say, hey, listen, basically he's saying, don't force on me what I haven't come into revelation of. So here's the thing. If you want to live the way you want to live, you want to follow Christ, you want to do all these other things, hey, listen, if that's what you want to do, I actually think that we should get to the point to where we get to a place to allow the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, to reach people, to draw them to us to hear. Because we're in a whole nother situation right now to where people who are coming to us, they're coming to us inquiring. You don't see us out here advertising. You don't see us in front of churches. You don't see us going out to the different, even when we went to the frequency conference, we went to the conference and not one time we talked about Torah. You know when we talked about Torah? When they asked us a question about it. So the thing is that you're using Judaizing wrong and you're using proselytizing wrong, because you're looking at what I'm teaching and you're trying to build upon that. Basically, you bring in false accusations against the brethren. You bearing false witness. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm not your brother. So let me rephrase that. You're bringing false accusations, because I, or most of these brothers and sisters that I know, none of y'all, I haven't seen any of y'all on their channels telling them they need to keep nothing. No, when we come on, but when y'all come on Berean show, y'all are invited. Y'all ain't running up on Berean show, let me get on and get on that and say, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, the question is asked of you. So if the question is asked of you, you have the right to respond as an Israelite, not as a Gentile, because you don't think like a Gentile, nor do you live like a Gentile. So if the question is asked of you as an Israelite, yes, this is how I'm living according to not only the gospel, one, but you're not going to find Paul or any other Israelite in the New Testament who were Christian and born again believers who follow Yeshua. You're not going to find them doing anything outside of what an Israelite is supposed to do. So folks can miss me with all that stuff about proselytizing and Judaizing.
What's going on, Dante? Wait a minute, he got kicked out. Maybe he's still trying to, but again, that's it. You go for it.
Go ahead, see, because I was going to also share some.
I'm watching this chat because there's some stuff going on. So y'all.
And you know what, Moray, what you touched on, right? I'm gonna add an additional word to there that they take out of context. When we go to 1 Peter, chapter 3, right? This is one word that they take out of context, right? That word apologia, right? They take that all out of context, right? Because they see the word defense, answer. But when you read that scripture, it says, but sanctify the Lord God in your heart and be ready to give an answer to every man that what? Asketh you a reason of the hope.
That's right.
And it says this, that is in you with meekness and fear. So you gave the prime example of when we went to the frequency conference, we actually operated in the true sense of what apologia is. We went up there, and when they asked us a question, we were ready to do what? Give an answer. Apologetics, according to the scripture, that word apologia is not going out there to start trouble. When the Hebrew Israelite Messiah told the disciples to arm themselves, he didn't tell them to arm themselves to go out there to start trouble, but to what? To be able to defend themselves if trouble came to them. And so that's where that's the actual the additional word I want to add to what you pointed out, as far as those two words, proselytize and also Judaizer. But I want to also add apologia, because apologia is what they hide behind to justify their foul, their hatred towards us.
What's going on, Dante?
Man, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear
What's
you.
going on, brother Dante?
Good. How you doing, Pastor Kelly, Pastor Majors,
Yo,
Sister E?
Oh, you've been wearing them out.
Have I?
You have been, they should be tired by now.
I
It's
hope
like
not. I hope they got their rest.
you gave them
We
a
got
little
Secret Santa coming tomorrow.
Oh yeah. We got some we got some Secret Santas coming to the table as well, right, Majors?
Oh, this is really
They
deep.
jumped off. Yeah, we're gonna add to that, Dante. They gonna expose some more stuff about this urban apologetic community.
Oh,
You know,
Nice.
this about to go down. This about to go down. Poe Berean, he gonna be up all weekend. He ain't gonna get no sleep. He gonna wear the mess out of all of us this weekend.
I want them to send me somebody that's a worthy opponent. I thought G-Man was gonna be it, but he tapped out. He officially tapped out yesterday, so I'm gonna let him be.
He done. He's done. But I mean, it's just they have been harassing people, attacking people for the past couple of years. Like, there are people that are Israelites that are afraid to say that they're Israelites because of they're scared to be attacked. And I said, when does people, it's ridiculous. They want us to stop. They cannot stand us. People are afraid to come out, but now more people are coming out because they have people like us that are standing. Because again, when people were by themselves, they really were afraid to stand out there. But now it's enough people in our community. People aren't afraid anymore. They're gonna be afraid to say UA and then look big.
Good.
that's the goal. That's the goal. We want to make sure that name become mud, because I mean, even just the term itself, urban apologist. What does the word urban mean? Who is it targeting? Are they truly upholding the true meaning of urban and apologia? Absolutely not.
Correct. And they scared right now because the thing is, I was always wondering when I first came across urban apologetics about 3 years ago on Facebook, and it all of a sudden I tell anybody, I said, I don't know where this came from. It just popped up out of nowhere. And I started seeing pound urban apologetics. And the main thing that I noticed, and this was about 2 years before I joined Berean, they were after anyone that said they were Israelites. And I'm not gonna say any names because this person, he didn't stop, and I don't want to put him out here because he's pretty much.
You sure you don't want to add him to the list?
Actually, we don't need to. He's too busy worried about conspiracy theories right now. So he kind of far away from the fight. But me and him used to have conversations about the Israelite community, and he used to come at me and be like, "You're more Christian than you are anything." I said, "That you can be an Israelite and Christian. It doesn't an Israelite is a nationality. It's not a religion." I just got through talking to someone Orthodox more as Islam, and I said, "What?" That confused me. But it took when Dante said it though. Even though I said it to him, but Dante really said it, it kind of made sense then. It clicked. I said, it is. I said, I just thought it was us, but there are even Israelite atheists. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Buddhists. When he said that, I was like, wow. But it just popped up out of nowhere. So, and it's been wreaking havoc, I mean, since then. And I said, these people like to argue. And it was like I spent more time online at that time arguing with them. And it's just like ever since then, I've had a horrible taste in my mouth dealing with them. It's just been horrible. So,
They're terrible. The whole community's terrible. I'm kind of glad Vocab dragged me into this. He should have just left me be, but I'm kind of glad he dragged me into this. I'm having fun, honestly.
He said your name how many times?
A whole lot. So I'm permanent. I don't know how many. I know in the movie you say it 5 times. He show up. I don't know. You know they done said it a whole lot. A whole lot of them done said it because you know the movie nobody believe you say it. So
they believe now.
Now they starting to say Devontae. I might show up. Just because I know they talking about me, but they think they slick. Like I don't know what makes them think that it's such a clever code word that I won't figure it out or anybody else won't figure it out. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, man. They you know you did Big Red on from what's that 5 Heartbeats. My office hours are. You know, maybe take the bass out of the voice. Whatever little bass he had, but you made him take the bass out of his voice.
He's real calm right now.
Oh, tomorrow's presents. They're gonna get some presents tomorrow. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I tell you, Minister, and as we were just talking here, these guys are literally every aspect of what constitutes or what labels a group to being labeled a hate group. They are demonstrating all the attributes of a hate group. I mean, and they don't even realize, and I don't think they really realize the magnitude of, from the perspective of when they start bullying people across international waters, what they're getting into.
I don't think they care. Like they have that arrogant. Like y'all hear how wrong they be about so much stuff, and they're loud and arrogant about being wrong. So I don't even think they care. They'll care when it's too late. That's what happened. I keep saying, if the attorney threw 2 people under the bus to get out of the way of this thing, they should be thinking about it. But hey, let them do what they do.
It's too late. It's because they've literally tried to destroy families, careers. Like I said, people used to be afraid of saying that they were Israelites because of the attacks that came with it. And I'm the type, I'm like, now you're not gonna make me do what you gonna want me to do. I'm gonna say what I want to say. And it was always, and it was, what's so funny is back in the day when I would say stuff in the chat, it wouldn't just be one person. It'd be this person over here, this person there. It was like they were all team up, and I said they act like ants, and they all try to come at you at one time. And I said this group is more vicious than the camp sometimes. And it's like they badger you and give you this, and their favorite excuse is, well, I don't like this belief system because I got a cousin that's in it, or I got a sister that's in it. Well, take that up with them. Don't take it up with me. You know, but that's just how they operate. But they getting what they deserve, because like I said, it was a lot of people that are now coming out, and I hate to say coming out, but are coming out as Israelites that were afraid to say anything.
Yeah. And again, I want to encourage everybody watching, make sure that you put your name on that list, on the petition, sign that petition, because, the more the better. But this is something that we all can participate in. Let's not leave our brother hanging, because even though we're it's at over 1,500 now, but we should have more than what's on that list. So let's get that list up. Let's get that list to at least 5,000 by the weekend, which we should be able to easily do. So we're all in this together. We all have to do our part. Just like when I think about Nehemiah, and I always refer to Nehemiah, is the people came together. He rallied the people to come together, put aside whatever differences and whatever issues that they were having, and they understood that it was one common goal that they all agreed on, and that was build the city, fortify the city, rebuild the temple. And then once they got that done, once they got that wall up, then they were able to focus on internal issues. So right now, we're at this point right now. Let's participate. You know, if you kick that can down the road, continue to kick that can down the road, eventually it's going to get to a point you're going to run out of road. You're going to run out of street. You're going to have to address it, but it could be worse down the road than just handling it right now. So let's support it. Get your name on the list. The link is in the description box, right, Sister E?
Yep, I put it in there. It's in my description. It is. It was in a chat, but the link was kind of long. But someone said they didn't have an issue with it. But it's in the description. Also, it's in my community tab section. I have that message from Dante, and it's in the community section of it. So.
Yeah. But we have to do this, guys. You know, we want to make sure that group get labeled correctly, and anyone use that name, not Hebrew Israelite, but urban apologist. Guess what? That's what's going to be associated. A hate group.
Yep.
Yeah, and I agree. Terrence Jackson in the chat said they don't know how many people know that they're Israelites, and I think they have no clue how many people are identifying as Israelites right now, because they still think it's just camps and us. They haven't even started acknowledging the Muslims and the Mormons. I'm glad Brother Berea showed the brother talking about the Book of Mormon, because I have a lot of people hitting me up about the Book of Mormon, a lot. And so I know there's like a whole segment out there that we probably haven't even begun to scratch the surface on, but there's a lot of Israelites everywhere. Recently, a Catholic Israelite sent me a message and told me he's Catholic, but he believes he's Israel. So yeah, this thing is bigger than they can even imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, and when they start signing that list, they're gonna realize, you know, and people, you know, that's why I just want to reiterate, we still got a lot of work to do, you know, even though, for example, we've Dante handled, been really giving them the shakedown, and you know, the pews and all those different things. Those are some great accomplishments, but we still got a lot of work to do. So we have to do it. We got to make it all the way across that finish line when dealing with these people.
Yep. You see that? Yep. He said we're waking up in Africa. I mean, this is worldwide. You know, I have people in my chat that are from Jamaica, from the UK, from Africa, all over. I get a whole lot. I get emails, and it shocks me that I'm like, y'all didn't see this coming. And the funny thing is, while I was on Beran's channel, I kept saying, Beran, this is bigger than you think. This is bigger. And you know how Beran just like, oh, okay. He wasn't paying. Now he's like, wait. And I think the wake-up call for him was when when everything happened and he went to visit a church to speak. And he said, yeah, I know y'all heard about my channel. You know, heard about the Israelite. How many are in here in the church now? This is I think it was a Pentecostal church. He said, how many in here believe that they Israel? He said he looked up, it was folks in the church raising their hand. And he said it shocked him. He didn't realize how much momentum this has gotten. It's not our control or anybody else's.
Yeah, and they're only dealing with the ones over here. And people in the chat are saying, you know, Papua New Guinea. Wow, I didn't know that. And somebody else said they know a Catholic Israelite as well. So yeah, they're only messing around with those in America. They won't even say anything about everybody everywhere else. They don't have enough urban apologists to deal with it. Yep.
It's bigger, and it's much bigger than they think. It's much bigger. It's just within it's something that was supposed to happen. Here we go, right here.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm familiar with that assembly too, because that assembly was started. When you start looking at Church of God in Christ, all of them knew that they were Israelites. you know um and can you put that one back up there again, Sister E, just
Yes,
so people can see that Church of God and Saints of Christ. It's no coincidence you see Church of God in Christ. They were started around the same time. I think it was a difference about 4 or 5 years, but they all knew. Bishop Mason knew that he was an Israelite. They all were teaching Israel, that they were Israelites.
yep,
So it's just that now when we get to where we are today, that's been so suppressed to just really push aside who we are, identity.
yep,
And when you even start studying about the history of Savannah, you'll see that that assembly made a lot of references about in Israel. Like I was reading about someone stealing money, right? And they said how this person disgraced, got locked up for 7 years for stealing. They said that he brought disgrace in Israel. You know what I mean? Not in the church, but in Israel. They refer to the assembly as being Israel, but refer to the church itself, the building, as the church. But you'll see them saying in Israel all through, during that time, whether it was the pastor, being referred to as the venerable father in Israel, to you seeing them having what you call it, departments referring to Israel. So you see it all around us, but it's just now we're starting to understand that, look, you can, just because you walk away from Christianity doesn't mean that you're walking away from Christ.
yep.
Just because you're walking away from these suppressive systems doesn't mean that you're walking away with your relationship with the Most High.
Mm. Have y'all seen the new song called Jerusalem Walk? The Only Love showed that to me.
No, I
Look,
haven't seen it.
I'm,
I
I'm,
haven't seen it either.
I'm gonna find it and I'll repost it. But it's a dance in Nigeria and they call it the Jerusalem Walk, and it's a history behind it. And I have to go through it and I'll talk about it later. I forgot. But Only Love pointed me to that song and how people in Africa are waking up and there are certain things that they're doing. And the thing is, a lot of their customs are adding up. I think Zion Lex now is doing some things where he's pulling in different people from different walks from different tribes as well. And keep in mind, all these names we're calling out, all of us call ourselves Israel, but we're considered to be Israel, or we know we're Israel, but understand that the belief systems do differ. And that's something that we clearly make a distinction in, because like you said, you have the Mormons, you have the Catholics, you have the Buddhists, you have the atheists, Israelites, but we all have to come to the realization that true Israel are the ones that cleave upon Christ. We have to be able to realize that as well. So, saints will get out here and say, oh, they don't care what you believe in. We never said that. Make that clear. We never said that. We understand that true Israel has to cleave to Christ. So,
Well, see, and that's what they was trying to paint, the narrative that we didn't believe in Christ, or we were kind of like the Jehovah Witness way of understanding and believing in Christ. But then once that got thrown out the window, they were basically trying to, jump to one thing to the next to the next. Oh, you believe in the law and you believe that we're under the law and not under grace. Oh, let me make sure you understand. We, through the Hebrew Israelite Messiah, the law as it was taught through the Hebrew Israelite Messiah, and grace taught by him, not from a perspective of the Pharisees, the traditions of man, but certain things that they would try to box us into saying, hey, look, um, again, going back to that term Judaizer, that they take all out of context. When actually they're the ones, they're the Pharisees. The way that their behaviors are, they're the Pharisees and the Sadducees.
They are. It's just, it's interesting. What were you saying, Dante?
Well, I hadn't said I took my phone off of mute, but I do find it interesting because I've been thinking about that for the longest. And I'm like, they are. It's something wrong when you use your liberty in Christ to do the type of stuff that they do. And I would even go as far as to say they're Pharisees. They're like lawless. They're like, we can have
that's
paganism in church. We can break every commandment. And so I started asking, I said, look, if every time we bring up something in the Bible, y'all going to say we're Judaizers, we're legalistic, why don't y'all just make a Bible where y'all take all them verses out of the Bible, and that way it won't cause the confusion. And y'all can just deal with the stuff y'all want to deal with. And for whatever reason, they won't just do that because they know good and well that the doctrine they teach is not the doctrine of the Bible at all whatsoever. They're just doing whatever they want to do. And then the three excuses are you're Judaizers, you guys are legalistic, or we have liberty in Christ. And that seems to be the excuse to commit every kind of abomination under the sun, which is why they can lie and spread false witness and do all the things they do. And Vocab can sit there and hear a black guy he did the same song with. The black guy apologizes, even apologized to the people that the song was meant to attack. And Vocab sits there with no conscience and doesn't want to apologize. These people, I don't believe any of them are saved, in all honesty. And I'm not talking about, oh, well, you're not a Christian. I'm talking about, I don't believe any of them actually believe that book.
No, I don't believe it either. I think that I'm gonna be honest, and this is my opinion, and I'm saying it just like Jacopo. My opinion. I think they did it for money, based off of what Berean said, that Eric Mason said, get that, you know what, money. And it's about money. You know, these guys come fresh out of college, they get bankroll to open churches, and what they do is they'll foot them the bill at the very beginning, and eventually they have their own church, and then from there they have to do church planning. It's all a game. It's never about truth, because if you hear them talk, they mostly talk about they really don't talk a lot about the Bible. They talk about other books and the church fathers. You never really see them delve into the scriptures and talk about things of the Holy Spirit and all that. Their conduct doesn't speak of it. But these guys got paid to do a job. And I really believe that Eric Mason was looking to be the next black leader in our era and in our age group. And the Israelite community came about and changed the whole game. And that's why he's real salty.
Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme that they were doing. And what they were planning on doing was that Acts 29 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What they were doing is he was basically their golden child, so to speak, to set up and bring Calvinism into the urban areas.
Yep.
You know, that was the whole game plan. But what they didn't expect, because they were targeting Islam. That's what they were really targeting.
Yep.
Right. But they didn't expect the pushback, for example, from the camps. But then take it even further, they didn't expect us, that they deemed or used the label moderates with. That's where they had no plan, no response, because they're like, wait a minute, you know, these are some educated people. They praising the Most High, they singing, they doing all these different things. They believe in the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. They're professionals. So that threw a wrench in their whole game plan. But the whole key to that Acts 29 or whatever ministry is to plant ministries in our communities, bring our people into Calvinism. And I wish I had my old hard drive that crashed, but I had screen prints of many of those guys referring to Luther and John Calvin as being their fathers. Wow. You know, it's like, wow, unbelievable.
That sounds like Catholicism.
Yeah,
it does. It does. Yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all see me moving around. I'm trying to move my heater around because it's cool in here. But but that's what it's about. Somebody says something, and here it is right here. All these conferences are about money and selling books every single time. And that's a pattern everybody noticed. Every time they were getting ready to do a big conference and sell a book, let's start a fight with the Israelite community.
Yeah.
If you start a fight with us, we're going to fight back. And they make money off of that and get momentum. And all of a sudden they pop up and have a big conference. After they have the conference, we don't hear from them anymore. And then here it goes again. It became a cycle and repetitive that it was just like, oh, so this how y'all make money. Y'all use us. Okay. And that's how they do. Like right now, they're quiet because they're not gonna make money off their book. Whatever
Those
book.
conferences are big money, Sister E. They
Oh,
they are
yeah.
huge money. I remember I did one back in 2010, and I didn't realize how much money it was, and mine wasn't even that big as some of these other ones. And when I realized how much money I made during that conference, that was the first one I ever did. I didn't know really anything about how it operated, but the money just flows in. It's crazy. It's like somebody turns on a faucet, and once you do that, then you start to see like, oh wait, these guys who do these big, huge conferences where they rent out these hotels and stuff like that, they have to be bringing in 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a day. That's going to get, after expenses, it's going to get split up among all the people who participated, however many that ends up being. But back in the day, I remember they did a big one. I think they had Missler and Marzulli, like they had all the big names they brought out, and it was all white guys, of course. And they also did it online. So they were selling tickets online. They were selling tickets in person. All the tickets in person sold out. And then it was a ton of people online. They probably made like 250 grand easy that weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 And that's what they've been planning on. And that's what they've been doing. And Bishop Mason, he was supposed to release his book this year, pushed it back to next year. Nefertiti was supposed to have a chapter in it. Vocab Malone, aka John Mark Reiser, or John Mark Reiser, aka Vocab Malone. Damon Richardson. They all were supposed to have a chapter inside his book coming up, and he pushed it back. Vocab Malone said he's working on his book. So what they're doing is they're trying to use us to fund their book, to stir up interest in their material. And so like you mentioned, Minister Dante, that hey, people, hey, start unsubscribing from these channels, because I know many subscribe not from the perspective of supporting, but just want to know when they do something and you stay on top of it. No, just unsubscribe, just bring their subscribers down, remove ourselves from their support system, because in their minds, if you put, let's just say, whether you put, they had give 1,000 thumbs up or 1,000 thumbs down, in their mind they still got what people looking at their information.
I think, you know what? I think it hurts their feelings when they get the thumbs down. Based over the last couple of days, they were whining, and Cherry had a video that she was doing, and I was on live, and I sent people the link, and she got like 190 thumbs thumbs down, and y'all know she don't have 190 people in her chat, so she got 190 thumbs down, and they went off in the chat about it, and she went off about it, and then yesterday, if you guys saw G-Man's thing, he sounded like he was kind of hurt that everybody was thumbs down in his video. So yeah, like you said, people see it, but I think they really kind of take that to heart when you thumbs down, thumbs down their video, which is why I was having people do it to Cherry sometimes just to mess with her. But yeah, they still get those views though. But they the thing is with them trying to build the channels, they were trying to do that apologetics empire. I don't know if you guys saw that, which seemed like it quickly fell apart. I don't know if that was the I don't know if what we were seeing was something like, I guess, a special thing that they did that one day where they were showing everything, but they had tried to build an apologetics empire where they were basically taking the big channels like Acts 17:11, who has like, I think, over 100,000 subscribers, and they would just circulate the content on all these channels, and they were trying to grow all the channels like that, and that fell apart. And so now I think they're kind of struggling to get something back together and get those views up.
Well, we know that every empire have an expiration date.
Right.
So no matter how big it is, they always had an expiration date. And so that's the difference. They empire driven while we're kingdom minded. So the kingdom always outlasts the empires.
Yep. And
But just want to encourage everyone, be on the lookout for this weekend. We're going to drop a major bomb this weekend, just to really further expose the tactics of the urban apologetic community.
Yep.
Just the ugliness, the hatred that these guys have, and definitely Abu, and I want to make it clear to him if he's watching, I am not letting you off the hook. You're going to be continue to be exposed. You're not. I'm going to show the people that just the pattern that you operate in. You know that this nice nasty that you try to play like, hey, I just want everyone. I just want to just have dialogue. No, no, you don't.
Yep.
You have an agenda. There's a reason why your YouTube channel is filled with videos of myself, Benaiah Israel, Dante, and Minister Dante and Minister Jacob. There's a reason why most of your videos lately have been about us, and there's no coincidence that you're silent right now.
Mm.
You're not, just because you haven't put a video out there. You've been very busy. Your community has been very busy, and we're going to further expose you and your entire hate group. Because I know that I know if he had any glimpse that he could come against what we put out, especially closing out with that Pew that he tried to say was Arabic and prove that he had no clue of what he was talking about. You know, now he's trying to find another way around it, and we're going to expose you know your ways that you're trying to get around it. Your entire community, we're going to expose it this weekend. You're not going to be let off the hook, and you guys are going to be. Your name is going to stay right with this hate group, Urban Apologists. Your name going to stay right with it. You're not going anywhere. You're staying. You're going to be attached to this group. Period.
Yep. So this is gonna be interesting. So we got the big hit. We got the big. Well, one of the next set of Christmas gifts on tomorrow.
Oh, we got 2 sets of Christmas gifts coming tomorrow. I think I see one. If I'm correct, 4 people gonna get Christmas gifts tomorrow. If I'm correct, 4 people. I know I'm giving out 1 tomorrow, and Secret Santa is gonna give out at least 3, maybe more.
Oh, there's a Secret Santa.
Yeah, there's definitely a Secret Santa that won't see it on this.
Oh, this is about it's y'all ready? And then we got Christmas gifts on this weekend. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. What we gonna call it after Christmas, y'all? No, I'm just joking.
I don't know. They want us to celebrate Christmas. They try so hard. I'm giving out gifts. I'm trying to be in the Christmas spirit. So they know how to get a hold of me if they want to talk, though. Anybody, they keep saying they want to talk. All they got to do is say my name on their show a few times. I'll come talk to them.
I love when you pull that Candyman intro up.
Oh yeah.
I was done. That's it. Oh, that means Candyman is coming for real.
Yeah, and I want to just reiterate that to our brothers and sisters, because many of them ask why are we doing what we're doing. You know, this is biblical. You know, there's nowhere in the scripture that says that we're supposed to just sit back and let people just walk over us.
Yep.
The Hebrew Israelite Messiah, again, and I always refer to him, if he told his disciples to arm themselves, because where did Peter get that knife from? Where did he get the sword to cut the soldier's ear off? It's because he was told to arm himself. So am I promoting going out here and just starting fights? No, that's not where I'm getting at. But they were not wimps. And, you know, Christ said, no man take my life. He said, I lay it down freely. In other words, he's not allowing anyone to take anything away from him. You know, he'll give it away, but you're not taking anything away from it. So I just want to reiterate that we can fight. We are fighting, and we are going to continue to fight. So don't be passive in this. Get aggressive. Put add your name to the list. I want to take it right back to there. Add your name to the list. Let's make sure this group is listed as a hate group. If you are a Hebrew and you're practicing Catholicism, still put your name on the list. If you're Islam, guess what? Put your name on the list. If you're in the Kemet community, put your name on the list. As long as you're not associated with Garfield, put your name on the list. All right. I'm just, put a little jab out there.
Put his name on it if he wants. Garfield is good.
So Garfield's on the list?
No, I said he can add his name too. He can sign it as well. I'm just messing with you.
But yeah, put your name on the list, guys, because these guys have really been bullying people for a long time, and it's time to slap the bully right back in the mouth.
Yep.
Well, they already been hit in the mouth a few times. Right, Dante?
Yeah, they refuse to learn. I mean, I'm hoping they pull somebody else off the bench. I don't know who, because I didn't see G-Man coming or Dagger Squad. That was surprising. I'm just waiting to see who else they pull off of here, because I'm enjoying myself. I hate to say it, but I'm enjoying it, and so I'm kind of just looking forward to the next set of people they send at me.
I'm trying to think. I'm mentally going through the list. I don't think it's anybody else that can pull. And I don't think anybody else is gonna step up to come at you, because they like, I don't want to be on the list. It's gonna have to be
That list, man. That list.
I told him I was checking it twice before I started giving out gifts. I did say that, but I didn't see anybody else that's on the list. I'm trying to mind my business. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna give out the other gifts I have planned. I'm not gonna mess with any new people that ain't on that list, and any new people I ain't said nothing. I'm not just gonna start picking people off like I could, but I'm gonna be quiet. I just want to see if anybody else, start talking loud, because they done already changed my name. Like, they scared to say Dante. So we'll see what happens.
Because I was thinking about, never mind. I was thinking about, you know who. I ain't gonna say. I want folks to think, but it's one more person you kind of left. I think you purposely left him off, though.
Hey, did you add on what's his name? Pastor Isaiah Roberts.
Oh yeah, he's on there. He's definitely on there.
Okay, want to make sure he's on there.
Oh, he was on there from the beginning.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he was on there. Okay.
That's why he jumped in Berean's chat the other day. Mad. He left me a comment that he deleted. Yeah, I don't know why he left that comment, but then he tried to file, I guess, a privacy whatever the thing on the video, because it said his name in the beginning, and that he filed it as like it violates his privacy. But since I had, showed the video of him in Vocab's show and him saying his name over and over and over again, it didn't violate any privacy, so it didn't go nowhere. But he tried.
Yeah, but still not going to speak up on what he said about, for example, about the pews. There's no Hebrew, no one's confirmed Hebrew on the pews, and throwing shade, using that ignorant word, throwing that towards here, and want to brag about how he know he's cool with the youth pastor there. But it's like, wait a minute, I'm related to one of the pillars there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
These guys are a joke, man. I mean, a straight joke. And I'm not trying to disrespect the office of a pastor, because I respect that to the utmost. But he's not behaving. He did not behave, or is not. He's not behaving in the office of a pastor, because a pastor will not behave the way that he's behaving. A pastor would not throw people under the bus like that. They'll understand the actual true, as they use the term gospel, they'll understand the true good news of how to go out there and win people with not with evil, with ugliness, but with drawing them by way of love. And this is not love that they draw people. They're drawing people, or trying to draw people by way of deception. I mean, they're not ministering to anyone but themselves. Well, actually, they're not even ministering.
No, they're definitely not ministering, because they're always attacking us. They don't have time to spread the gospel and attack us. They don't have Bible studies on their channel. They don't have history studies on their channel. They don't do anything on their channel except for attack black people to say they're Israelites, and that's it.
And
you notice they're not dealing with doctrine, right? They're not pulling, hey, let's go through one of Dante's teachings here. Let's talk about it. Or let's go through one of Pastor Kelly's teachings here. Let's talk about what he just taught here. They're not dealing with that, because they don't teach themselves.
Yeah, Terrence Jackson said Mike said that list wasn't doing nothing while their lawyer was making deals. Yeah, they sat there they sat there while the lawyer said, "Look, I'll throw 2 people under the bus to get off that list," and they still kept. I don't understand. These people are either not very intelligent, or they're just like the most boldly wrong people in existence right now. And they still got that fake bravado, like, oh, this list ain't important. It only had 300, it only got 1,000, it only got 1,500. They keep telling themselves it's not as bad as it seems. And meanwhile, they had a lawyer right there. The lawyer did not try to help them. It was just so many funny things about that whole thing that happened.
She
and
said,
they didn't get it.
I need that name. My name off that list.
Man, she gave it quickly. You know, the thing about people don't understand when you talk about plea deals, the ones that get the best deals are the ones that jump on it early.
Yep.
Yep. And she
Once you
jumped on
wait
it
too
immediately.
long, she got it. She's like, hey, here, boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? I'm off the list. Got to go.
Now, what's funny about it, this was after Alton tried to do his little defamation threat or whatever it was, and the lawyer was like, she's full on in public, on camera, in front of everybody, making a deal. She ain't threatening lawsuits or nothing. And Alton thinking he gonna do something.
Alton just he
Like you said, when the lawyer jump ship, you better worry. You better take the plea deal too. He should have gave 2 more names to try to get their name off the list.
And when I was sitting, I said, okay, good. Mike up here, Mike all the way up here. When he said, keep your snitch list, I said, that's it. He's stuck on the list. I said, I wanted to just message him and just say, shut up. Don't say nothing else. And he just kept talking. And I just was like, done deal for him. Poor man.
Yeah, but now we know the real Mike Holloway, though.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say that. Now we know the real Mike Holloway.
Man. I kind of feel bad for him. Y'all gonna talk about it, but I kind of feel bad because
I don't feel bad for him at all.
I don't. Yeah. And the reason why I say this is when you purposely, and I'm, I don't pull any punches, to go do a video with someone that is spewing hatred.
Yep.
Right. Not just their dead rounds went from vocab, went to the other lady, whatever her name is. What's her name? I can't think of her name now.
Cherry Love.
Yeah, went to her channel. I mean, I don't. Me personally, it's like I don't feel sorry. Why? Because you adding to the problem. You're not taking a stand. You're actually pushing the agenda.
Yep.
If to me, there's no such thing as good poison.
Yeah.
Or if a house is on fire, are you going to try to, go to another room in the house and say, hey, well, you know what? The house is on fire, but I'm gonna try to go in the room that the smoke and fire didn't get in. Or are you trying to get out the building?
They would probably go to another room because apparently G-Man saw the building was on fire, pulled his U-Haul up, was like, I want to move in right now. These people are entertaining.
He just popped up out of nowhere, and I was like,
and left as soon as he came.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how he's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Pastor Kelly.
No, I'm just saying, for me, it's just, I don't feel sorry for him. It's kind of like the Most High said to Samuel, how long are you going to mourn for Saul? You know what I mean? How long are you going to allow this situation to get you all, have you all bent out of shape? Now, take your hands off of it and continue to, do work. So I don't feel sorry for anyone that have purposely, got in, formed an alliance with any of these guys. I don't feel sorry for them.
Yep.
Now, the ones I would be concerned about is those that don't know better, that may be fresh off the streets and they got to, see this stuff going on. That's my concern. But I have no concern for Mike Holloway. I have no concern for any of those guys. Why? Because they are adding to this situation. They, who do they fall back to? I guarantee vocab would say, hey, Mike been on his channel. Hey, such and such been on his channel. Hey, if I was a racist, and that's the approach that he takes. If I was a racist, remember what he said on the video, Dante? Camel P, you should be happy that I'm talking about nobody should be pouring Camel P down the face. No repentance. You should be happy that I'm doing the video, and such did the video about came up with the idea about the Bible upside down. He thought it would be cool, that what?
He thinks these things sound good to black people that aren't G-Con and the rest of his crew. because we think this sounds stupid, and I don't think he understands how stupid it sounds because the black people around him don't tell him this. So then he comes and says it in public to us, and we all like, yeah, that's not gonna fly over here. I'm saying it in a nice way because that's stupid.
And forgive me, guys, for saying camel instead of saying camel urine. You know what I mean? But I just was saying exactly what he said. So for those that may take it like Pastor out there saying camel, you know, I just want to put that out there.
I'm glad you cleaned that up because I would have said it the other way. Would have been like, what? You know, I have to work. Pray for me. I need help. Because I was like, what did he say wrong? But I see what you're saying.
But we should be happy.
Yeah, remember that? That's when I was listening to that, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" You say you should be happy that we got somebody on there. You know, it's not good for you. Wait a minute,
like,
man.
Black people ain't drinking camel pee. We don't even know where to find camels at. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, there go Mike.
So. Like I said, for me, I don't feel sorry for any of them because, you know, either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Yeah. And right now, they all have been part of the problem. No one is trying to, and going back to even Dante's point, and Dante, you literally put all of them in a position to say, you know what, let's talk about these acts, and no one wants to say anything. But they'll throw out there, hey, do you guys correct your own people within your community? Well, I'll say this to Elder Mike, since he's watching, go to my channel and you'll see me dealing with Pastor Dowell. You know what I mean? You'll see me calling out a lot of things that no one wants to deal with, like polygamy and all those different things. So we do that here. But the question is, will you and others do the same thing and say, hey, vocab, you is wrong. You know, you guys shouldn't, Sister Cherry, you're wrong. You should not be calling names. You shouldn't even be saying the things that you said. Hey, you know, go right down the list. Will you do those things? We do that on this end.
They're not going to do that. They have never done that because doing the right thing ain't in them. And now, before they started bothering me, I was actually targeting doctrine put out by some of the camps, because all the camps don't teach the same thing. I was actually teaching different doctrines, but I wasn't preaching or teaching against any specific group, just the doctrine itself. And I don't understand why they would interrupt me from doing that, because technically I was doing their work for them. And now I've refocused, but no, I still teach the doctrines and stuff like that. And we do stuff, like you said, we do stuff like that where we'll correct doctrine, and you will call out a person. Sometimes I'll call out a person. I stopped calling out Israelites because of them. I'm like, if they're not going to call out their people, I ain't calling out nobody from Israel. Not at all. So at this point, yeah, I'm focused on them. And until they start calling out their people, they shouldn't even be asking us to say nothing to nobody.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. You know, and again, it doesn't take anyone to have, you don't even have to be have a relationship with the Most High when you hear someone use the word coon that is offensive. You know,
yeah. Go ahead, bro. Pastor Kevin.
No, go ahead. I
was gonna say, 144. That was me that started calling them. Oh, I don't know if that was me. I know a bunch of people call him Pagan Mike, but I call him Pagan Mike. I don't care what he say. I don't care what he say about the liberty in Christ to practice paganism, and he don't believe history, and everybody knows Christmas is pagan. But I don't know. I will never understand the mind of somebody who just refuses to believe what's obvious when they have Google.
And you know what? What I look at that is this. Going to a vocab's channel or a Cherish channel is like me leaving off of Beran's channel and going to a One West Camp channel. That's how I see it. Like it's like they spew such hatred. It's no different. I don't see them any different.
But you know what though? The difference is One West wouldn't spew hatred for you. A black person going on Vocab's channel, Vocab is spewing hatred towards all black people when he says coon.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's a little, that's like you. That would be more like you going on a clan channel.
Yeah. And using black exploitation in his videos, and then say he's gonna do a slave parody and try to clean it up.
And Vocab's channel talk about the Israelite community and what you're doing. Like, we got to be corrected. And it's like, what?
What happens is they under weak leadership. Mike is under weak leadership at his church. There's a bunch of weak Christians over there. So when they get disrespected by somebody of a different hue, they can't say nothing. All they can do is go over there and say, "Yes, Master, I'm gonna come on your channel," and they ain't never gonna say nothing ever.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that's out of respect. And the crazy thing is, I was a little like, Mike, they using you, right? You have been on my channel. Vocab is trying to find a way to figure out what people are doing. Cherry used you so you can get up there so she can find more stuff to talk about us about. And it's like, you should have known better. They care nothing about you. Because ask this question. Were you, and you may have, but were you invited before you started really, really, really interacting and digging and start coming at the Israelite community? No. Because truth be told, you and Vocab don't see eye to eye. You don't believe in Calvinism. But they want to come at you because they trying to get at us. And that was my whole problem. I'm like, do you see that they're using you to get at us?
See, Mike in the chat laughing at Google because he doesn't know that Google only collects all the other information that has been put on the internet by sources like colleges and history experts. And see, I don't think Mike understands how technology actually works right now. Who says Google and puts a bunch of laughing faces? Google helps you find information. It's not the source of information.
Okay.
This is like laughable.
But they spin this whole narrative of, oh, you use Google, you don't use this. No, you do things to search. I look at Google like it's a search engine.
It is a search engine.
I mean, that's all it is. It's a search engine. That's all it is.
I mean, this is the same dude the other day that said he doesn't believe history. That came out as I said, you don't believe the history.com? You don't believe the history that they put? No, I disagree with history.com. He disagrees with everything. Anything that says Christmas is pagan, he disagrees with because I don't know. It's cognitive dissonance at some point.
I mean, and I'm going to do it tomorrow night. It's a lesson that I did years ago, Christmas on Trial, and I'm going to go in on the tree tomorrow. I'm going to do just what you did, Dante. I'm going to give some Christmas gifts out on that. Elder Mike he feel free to watch it, but I can guarantee you that I'm going to show you what true research is about that tree. I guarantee you, if you watch the whole presentation, you're not going to come out of it feeling like that. It's okay to watch that tree. I'll just give a little nugget there. We could go right back to Jeremiah chapter 10. But actually, it doesn't start there. It starts in Jeremiah chapter 2 and carry all the way through from Jeremiah chapter 2 all the way to beyond chapter 10, actually to chapter 44. Now, I could just use that right there to knock down that whole tree doctrine. But we could go even further. I'm going to take it even further than that. I'm going to show a handbook that I'm going to put out there that will shut down all of the holidays that the church celebrates. A handbook from someone within the church. Yep. Right. I'm gonna show that tomorrow. It's a handbook that shuts it down, but going to do the true research on that. But again, I'll do that tomorrow night. I'm not going to, prolong the hour because I know I got to get up early tomorrow, but just wanted to just put that out there on what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. I'm going to deal with, Christmas tomorrow. I'm gonna start off by dealing with the food of the sacrifice to idols, and I'm going to deal with the tree, and I'm going to deal with the mistletoe.
Okay, that's it.
Oh yeah, the mistletoe is a good one, but it don't matter. He ain't gonna listen to nothing you got to say because according to him, he's done his own research, and Christmas is an American holiday. So.
Oh yeah, and we're labeled Judaizers.
Right, we're legalistic if we follow the book. If we give him Bible verse, here, give me the Bible. As soon as you get the Bible, you're Judaizers, you're legalistic. I got liberty in Christ to ignore all this stuff.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I don't think Mike knows how ridiculous he sounds when he says that. Give me the Bible, and then as soon as we do, he rejects the Bible. It makes no sense.
Yep. No,
but oh no, go ahead, Sister. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just looking. I'm watching the chat because I know it's growing. So I'm listening to y'all and watching it because, just trying to make sure no one slips in the cracks.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely appreciate you, my brother Dante. We want to keep pushing that list, and appreciate everyone for tuning in. And appreciate you, Sister E, for allowing me to come on here and talk some about the pews. And next time we come on, maybe this weekend, it'll be after I drop that bombshell on just how busy Abu and these guys have been.
Mm-hmm.
They're really busy. They quiet right now, but they're not quiet like you think they are. They're very busy behind the scene.
Right, brother. Shout out to Benaiah Israel. He's in the chat.
Yeah.
I want you to highlight his comment because I think that's very important. Right.
Yep. That's key.
Yeah. If they really understood this one little nugget to Elder Mike, since he's watching, when you start understanding the solstice and the equinox represents the planting of the seed. 9 months later, you get December. that represents the birth of the seed, and that's common in all paganism. That's a nugget right there. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, he in there saying he says the history of the tree is our opinion. See, it's people like this that you can't talk. This is why I can't go to church at some churches, because you have people like Elder Mike who infuriate me because they don't. I understand how atheists feel with some Christians when they try to teach them something about science, and they're like, "That's your opinion." They're like, "No, this tree has rings in it, and that's how we count the years of the tree," and they just refuse to accept anything factual. That's Elder Mike. He's that traditional church dude who's been brainwashed and indoctrinated, and in his mind, it can't be any other way, and that's a problem. But it is what it is. Elder Mike is on the list, so
he asking for a debate now, y'all.
Who?
Elder Mike.
Who wants to debate who?
I don't know. One of y'all about the Christmas tree.
I want to debate Elder Mike on whether or not a white person calling us coons is racist, and I want Mike to say it's not. I want Mike to defend it, since he won't call it out like a a reasonable person with common sense would do. He don't want to call it out. I want to debate Mike on that, whether or not the word coon is racist coming from a white guy towards black people, since he went on Vocab's channel and he refuses to call Vocab out for
that. I concur in that.
Elder Mike, do you accept my debate to debate whether or not white people calling coons is racist? We'll see if he accepts that debate.
This is interesting.
I didn't see any more responses. I guess the answer is no.
He ain't gonna debate that.
Set apart that I'm getting my cup of coffee, get under my blanket, and watch Dante hand out gifts.
He says Christmas didn't exist. So in Mike's mind, now here's what bothers me too. They talk all this stuff about the devil and spiritual warfare. Now, because the name Christmas didn't exist, to them, they can't fathom that all the elements of Christmas came from stuff that existed, all pagan practices. They think it's a coincidence that they pulled a tree out of the forest and decorated it, stood it up in the house and decorated it. They think that's a complete coincidence. And because the practice is similar now, it couldn't have possibly been related to something happening back then. And it's this cognitive dissonance of actual spiritual warfare that I don't think they get. If Satan if he deceived the whole world, why would he leave Christianity alone? You see, this world's hugest religion is like, what, 2 billion people, 3 billion people that call themselves Christians, even though the Bible tells us that not that many people, it may be billions, I don't know. I won't give a number, but it says few there be that find it. So if few there be that find it, that doesn't seem like half the planet to me.
Yep.
But that's just me. And for whatever reason, they don't even consider that. They think that everything they do is holy and righteous, and the liberty of Christ allows them to just do everything under the sun, just like the pagans, no different.
Yep. And what's so funny is a lot of them are saying they're being persecuted. And I've seen Cherry do her whole spiel of, church being persecuted. And I said, wait a minute, y'all have been the persecutor. Y'all have been the antagonist. Y'all have been the one that harassed people and cussed people and did all types of stuff to people. Now you're playing the victim, because a lot of them are playing the victim. Jerry's playing the victim. Recon is playing the victim. He's so mad at Berean. All of them are playing the victim now when they have been the victimizer. I'm like, y'all been victimizing people. And now you're feeling certain, just like, oh, y'all, let's pray. Y'all should have been praying before y'all was cussing us out. Now all of a sudden y'all want to throw prayer in and fasting. What about the praying and what about the cussing and the slandering? So if you're gonna have that energy, keep the energy into the end. Now all of a sudden you want to call on them and pray and spit, holler, and cry. No, you was hollering and cussing just 2 months ago. So that's all of them. Now all of a sudden y'all need to pray. They victimizing us, the devil and this, and I'm sitting here like, we never victimized y'all. Y'all started it. But what y'all wanted to do was come to us and we just sit there and just be like, oh, we're not gonna say nothing. No, enough is enough. So don't play like you're being victimized when you've been the victimizer.
Exactly. I do got to get off of here, Sister E and Pastor Kelly. It's been fun. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for Christmas presents. What time are you doing yours tomorrow, Pastor Kelly? I'm
gonna do mine at 10:30. I mean 10:20.
At night?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all know my shoot starts tomorrow, so.
Hey Dante, if you have like 3 minutes, when we end it, I just want to show you something before you go.
Okay.
Well, I got to get off now. If you can call me back after we get off. Are we getting off now, or are y'all staying on?
I'm finna get ready to get off now. I'm finna close everything up.
Okay, cool.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming and joining us. Y'all have a good one. Subscribe. Make sure you update and sign the petition. Much love, family, and make sure y'all do right. Don't get in here and start acting crazy with folks in their chats. Act right.